Here.
Mr. D'Amico?
Here.
Ms. DeAndre?
Here.
Mr. Kella?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Shatina?
Here.
Mr. Walden?
Here.
Mr. Strong?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, this is the duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Plan Commission for January of 2014. We've got 2 items on the agenda. We will stick to the agenda as printed. Both of these items are at opposite ends of the city. The first one is A114. It's an annexation of .64 acres located at the northeast corner of Essington and Division Street, a classification to B3 general business zoning, and the approval of an annexation agreement. The applicant is Insight Real Estate LLC. They are the contract purchasers and the developers. The owners are the estate of Gregory and Ken Newman. It's a First Midwest Bank Trust 2681. The requested action is the approval of the annexation, a classification to B3 general business, as well as the approval of an annexation agreement. The purpose is to incorporate the existing property into the city of Joliet for future development. It currently is residential property with an R3 unincorporated Will County zoning. It's located at the northeast corner of Essington and Division. It's .64 acres and it's currently undeveloped property. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north is residential and unincorporated Will County. To the east is the same. To the south is commercial with B3. To the west is commercial with B3. Under site history, you could find no previous cases. Under special information, the approval of the proposed annexation, the annexation agreement, and the classification to a B3 general business will allow the future commercial development of the subject site with a new mattress store. And I think the renderings are attached, and I think we've got them on the screen for those in the audience. The proposed 1-story, 5,000 square foot retail building will be sited along the front property line with the parking around the sides and the back of the building. 2 full curb cuts are being proposed to access and exit the parking lot on Essington Road and Division. The front door of the building will be faced the rear of the parking lot. The existing trees will be preserved along the back sides of the property as much as possible. Additional landscaping will be provided as per the landscape ordinance, and a 6-foot-high solid wood fence will be placed along the back property line to add more screening to the adjacent residential. The building material that is being proposed is brick and stone veneer with an ephes cornice, which complies with the city's design standard. As part of the annexation agreement, a request has been made by the petitioner to reduce the amount of parking spaces from the required 27 down to 25, and on the size of the parking stall from 180 square foot to 166.5 square feet. The planning staff supports the request due to the small triangular shape of the site. Half-road improvements for Pinecrest and Evergreen will not be required in order to preserve the tree lines and the rural characteristics of the adjacent neighborhood. City water and sewer is available and is adjacent to the property. The new development will be required to pay the sewer and water connection fees and the developer impact fee. Detachment fees for the Plainfield Fire Protection District in the amount of $316.82, and for the Plainfield Library District in the amount of $65.10 have been paid. The Community Design Review Board met on January the 2nd, and the minutes are attached, and that concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Hello, my name is Eric Ubelar, project manager with Insight Real Estate. So my affiliation with Insight is we work with the cities and municipalities to develop properties. This site, as you saw, located in unincorporated Will County. Our plan is to hopefully annex this into the city. It's a .64 acre site, as Jim mentioned. We are currently showing a 5,000 square foot retail building configured with access to Essington. As Jim said, we are preserving the tree line that buffers the neighbors. Our intent is to keep those houses as undisturbed as we possibly can, keep all traffic contained within the site and off of Essington. Our building elevations are included, our floor plans included. Based on the parking requirements, you know, this will never be a restaurant. It is our intention to have a mattress store here. Our lease is not finalized yet, but we're far enough along that we want to move forward with purchasing the property. Let's try to address any concerns that were out there, with the fence along the property line and the existing tree buffer, which is a substantial buffer, which we've been able to configure the site to fit it. That tree line should remain, and with the fence, board-on-board fence, we don't foresee an issue with light trespass. The illumination plan has been provided with full cutoff fixtures, so we're eliminating any light that'll spill over. We don't have set store hours yet, but typically you're looking at a 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Minimal deliveries, it's a showroom only. So truck traffic won't be a big concern, maybe an occasional box truck to drop off a display unit, but the majority of the mattresses, the customers come in, you order your mattress, and then it's shipped from a distribution center. So as far as truck noise, that really shouldn't be much of a concern. Again, just the tightness of the site should contain it to a low demand use as far as traffic concerns.
Very good. Jim, how do we handle, I don't see stormwater management addressed on the
Yes.
plan.
I think Eric could elaborate on that, and Scott's reviewed it all.
We haven't moved forward with full engineering plans yet, but it will be contained either within underground pipe or underground chambers. Ideally, we'll get some depressional areas in the little remaining open space, but there's storm sewer on the north side of Essington that we can connect to, and then city water and sewer as well. We'll have to chase in and across Essington.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from the commission?
Yes, I got a couple. With the tree line and stuff like this, is there going to be, also from the city, is that going to be a problem with the utilities going in there?
Again, Eric, we don't believe so, because most of the utilities are
Coming from the south?
from the other direction, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Gas
The
is
question is-
gas is to the northeast, I believe, but they should be able to trench that in without disturbing the tree lines.
Okay. I think the tree line's a great idea, but I just make sure it's not going to be interfering. The other thing is this a business, a mattress business that's already in the city, is going to be relocating there, or do you already have,
It would be a new business.
it's a brand-new business not employed, or in the city now?
Correct. New
Okay, thank you.
employees, new business.
I got a question also. Are you done?
Yeah.
I want to make sure access is only from Essington Road and 16th or Division, whatever you want to call it,
Correct.
but not from Evergreen or Pinecrest. Those will not have access.
Correct, and we actually discussed at our design review meeting, putting a 1 or 2 foot no access easement line along the property line on those sides to guarantee that no one would come in later and
What about lighting? And what kind of lighting situation will there be?
lighting. We'd have, right now, the illumination plan shows 6 light poles along the curb line, and here's the plan. So they're full cutoff fixtures, so along the property lines, the light levels won't trespass on, past the property line towards the
Okay, so it'll
residence.
be shining down.
Correct, downward.
One other thing, Jim, with respect to the streets, Pinecrest and Evergreen, who's responsible for those?
Upon annexation, we will be responsible for those, and we had a lengthy discussion on whether we should, in anticipation of taking over ownership of the streets, we agonized over whether we should take control of them and make this developer rebuild all of those streets. The big problem with that was that tree line, the 2 heavy, dense tree lines on both perimeters sit right on the property line. So in order for them to go through the street reconstruction, we would probably lose that buffer. So in this particular instance, in this instance only, we ended up waiving our right to make them redo the street because we don't want to lose that buffer, that natural buffer that we have to the houses to the east and to the north.
Who will maintain the streets?
We will
Snow,
maintain those sections of the streets.
as well as the snow removal, et cetera?
Correct. So, but again, too, just be for annexation purposes, it will just be for those, I guess you'd call it 2 blocks, the block that's north of it and the block that's east of it.
Will sidewalks be required?
Sidewalk will not be required. Again, we didn't want to lose the tree line, so we did not put streets there. We wanted to keep things as much as they exist today.
Natural? Want to keep it natural?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Jim, because we've agreed to go a little tight on the parking, is it gonna be noted on the zoning and the annexation agreement that this property could probably never be a restaurant?
Noted on the plat, Jim? We're not going to eliminate the possibility of a restaurant. They could come in and request a variance in the future. Kind of the big thing we were doing is with the no access easement, we realized that we're going to put on the north side and on the east side that easement that will keep them from ever putting a curb cut through there. But I suppose if some future restaurant did want to come in there, the traffic pattern for a restaurant really doesn't work out that way. Assuming that somebody came in and tried to make a go of the existing building, it would be kind of tough, especially there's no room for a drive-through, there's no room for a lot of the things that the newer restaurants want. So I would never say never, but it's somewhat precluded just by the lay of the land and by the placement of the building and the placement of the drive accesses in and out.
Okay,
Thank you.
Eric?
Any other comments or questions?
Eric, you said that you're going to have the fence on as a buffer between the subdivision. What about, that's be on the north side? What about on the east side? Is that going to be fenced also?
Yes, north and east side.
Yeah, and Commissioner, it'll be on the inside of this tree line.
Okay,
So they'll have the trees, the residents across will be looking at the vegetation that they see now. The fence will be on the inside.
thank you.
I have one question. Was there ever thought of putting a light at that intersection to coincide there? Okay. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, any comments or questions from the audience? Please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Gordon Clark, 3214 Essington Road. I'd like to know about your traffic pattern, because right now we have, it's like these Texas turns. They just cruise right up and keep right on going. We have that trouble now, and I can't see it getting any better.
Yeah, the only thing, and Eric could chime in here, the only thing from a practical standpoint, we expected is that people coming into the site, I would think that would come in on one entrance and exit out on the other to make it conducive for you to get as many right turns as you could. So depending on the location you were coming from, it really shouldn't have much of an impact. And again, the mattress store is not a big generator of traffic like maybe a drive-through restaurant would be. So I don't know that it's going to add significantly to the traffic that's already there. So, but we did look at that and we realized with the two entrances the way they are, that most likely what'll happen is a person coming in will come in one drive that's most convenient for them and go out the opposite one where they minimize the amount of conflict they would have with the intersection.
Mr. Chairman, with respect to the Texas turn you're talking about, I'm assuming you're coming up Essington Road and you're catching a stop sign and you're not stopping for it, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of problems
Get
there
straight
now.
through.
No, there's a stop on Essington. There's no stop coming off of, there's a stop on each side of one on Essington, one on Division, but it's not a three-way, it's a two-way
Correct.
stop.
No.
Correct.
Traffic coming from the south, I guess. Right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, that a motion's in order for A-1-14.
So moved.
Second. Call the roll.
Mr. D'Amico?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre?
aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye.
Mr. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Next up, opposite side of town, over on Cherry Hill Road, we've got P1-14 and FP1-14. It's the preliminary plat of the Cherry Hill Joliet Business Park subdivision, and then also the final plat of the Cherry Hill Joliet Business Park subdivision. The applicant is United Insulated Structures Corporation. The requested action is the approval of a preliminary plat and a final plat of the subdivision. The purpose is to create two industrial lots for the current and future development. Existing zoning is an I-1 light industrial. It's located at the southwest corner of Cherry Hill Road and New Lenox Road. Size of the property in total is 54.9 acres, and it's currently industrial under construction. Surrounding land use and zoning is residential, commercial, and unincorporated Will County to the north. To the south is residential with an R1B. To the east is industrial with I-1. To the west is residential and undeveloped and unincorporated Will County. Under site history, the subject site was annexed and zoned I-1 in September of 2007. A special use permit to allow a trucking terminal for Dayton freight lines was approved in December of 2011, but was never constructed. And as you all know, that particular development moved to Crest Hill. A variation on the building material, the maximum allowed trailer parking and a fencing material around a retention pond was approved in February of 2013 in order to allow the construction of the existing cold storage warehouse facility. Special information, the petition is requesting the approval of a two-lot subdivision in order to allow the existing and the continued industrial development at the subject site. The existing 219,627 square foot cold storage warehouse building is located on the proposed lot number 1 of the subdivision, which is 28 acres. There will be enough vacant land remaining on lot 1 in order to allow for an expansion of the building by more than 200,000 square foot. Lot 2 of the proposed subdivision, which is 22 acres, will remain available for future industrial use that is unknown at this time. Separate stormwater detention ponds will be provided for each lot. The proposed development plans comply with the I-1 zoning district as well as the South Side Comprehensive Plan. All public improvements will be required as per the subdivision regulations and Public Works and Utilities departments. Sewer and water connection fees, sewer and water surcharge fees, and development impact fees are required. The future development will be required to meet the city's ordinances for landscaping and architectural design. And then lastly, the Community Design Review Board minutes from January 2 are available, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Good afternoon. My name is William Bone with Jacob and Hefner Associates, with offices at 1910 South Highland in Lombard, Illinois.
Did you have anything to add to staff report?
I do not.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
I got a couple of questions. Jim, where's the sewer and water?
Scott, we're coming from
Coming off of Cherry Hill Road.
Cherry Hill. We had for the business park across the street, the Cherry Hill Business Park, we had run utilities out there, and I think we did water up Mills Road. And
Correct.
sewer.
Water was extended from Briggs back in, I think, '08
Yes.
east and around the curve, and that's what we're tapping into for our facility.
So they'll be able to pick it up.
Yes.
They don't have to punch underground or anything?
Not,
For the sanitary, yes. Water, no.
Sanitary, they have to go under?
and just so you all know that that particular road, Cherry Hill Road out in front, is under the county's jurisdiction. It's not a city road. We will pick up that portion of New Lenox Road to the very north. That's our road now for jurisdiction, but Will County Highway Department maintains jurisdiction over the front road.
The amount of lighting and the spacing, how much lighting will there be on it?
Scott, street lighting?
We're proposing street lighting on New Lenox Road.
The county is not requiring street lighting on Cherry Hill. Correct.
So the county has a say over what lighting applies?
On their road, we will have lighting on our road.
All right. Thank
Jim,
you.
is there already a warehouse here existing already that we're
No, this
extending?
was a warehouse under construction. They started, I think they broke ground, it was the warm part of last year, and they are set to open this June.
Right.
So they've been under construction for the past 8, 9, 10 months.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, then a motion's in order for P-1-14 and FP-1-14.
Second.
Call the roll.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Jim, I forgot to ask you about the maintenance of that road. The road's nice, but there'll be more traffic hitting it now, who's gonna have to be responsible for maintaining the road?
Well, one of the things that are interesting with this development, they were able to get IDOT grants. So they're going to do some upgrades to Cherry Hill Road and a complete reconstruction of New Lenox Road for that portion that's adjoining this property that is in our city limits. As you know, as you get farther to the west, it's unincorporated Will County, and I believe the Joliet Township Highway Commissioner has jurisdiction over that road. That's an interesting case in that it's developed largely industrial and the road is not in really good shape, but in our section of the city that we're responsible for, it will be reconstructed using the grant funds that they were able to secure through IDOT.
Under whose aegis?
Actually, it's going to be a city project where we're going to bid it out.
Waiting for final IDOT approval right now, but we're in the process of working with Hefner on getting, plans have been approved and we're working on getting the contract put together.
We have something to say about the final completion as to construction, quality, et cetera?
Yeah, I think they're going to build it up to truck standards, 100,000-pound weight limit.
Part of the grant, we had to convert New Lenox Road into a truck access route, so
Okay,
goes accordingly.
all right, good, thank you. I'll vote aye.
Mr. Walden?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. D'Amico?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
All right, well, that concludes the agenda items. Next up would be approval of the minutes of last month's meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Lastly, we all in favor of adjournment, signify by aye.
Jim, I have a question before you do that.
Oh, sure.
I want to know if the Plan Commission is going to be privileged to see the information with respect to the downtown development. There's the 6 proposals that are out, and I want to know if we're going to have an opportunity to look at that as a Plan Commission and be put up to speed on it.
We would be happy to share all of that with you and participate. We could have, Kendall Jackson's taken the lead on that, and what we could have at next month's meeting, we can have Kendall do a complete walkthrough on the whole bidding process, where we're at. By next month's meeting, we will have selected, I'm pretty certain we will have selected our consultant. We interviewed 6 of them yesterday. All 6 of them came with very high credentials, and it's going to be a very tough thing to pick which one to pick out of the group. A lot of this is going through the Downtown Development Council, sort of the City Center Partnership, rather, and so they're kind of co-chairing this with the city of Joliet, but yes, we could,
I think if it's
Walk you
within our
through the whole
purview,
thing.
I'd like to
Sure.
have a look at it.
sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's pretty exciting to think that, we're starting down this path again, and we've got a lot of new vested stakeholders in there with the junior college, the transportation center. University of St. Francis has now taken the old mode building, and they're going to rehab that. And so we've got a lot of stuff going on. We've had discussions with the county about opening Chicago Street. It was interesting that we had several of the county officials that sat in on those presentations yesterday. And I noticed in the newspaper today there were some kind of positive comments coming from the county board chairman. So they're an active player in this with us as well, and so we'd be more than happy to share all of that stuff and get your blessings as well.
Okay, thank you.
We are adjourned? All right, thank you all.
Everybody's
Stay away from me, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good.